Hello, and a very warm welcome to my channel. Tonight, we give you a piece of breaking news. Meghan and Harry were slammed on suspicion of stealing William's birthday spotlight. Watching the Harco debacle is a tiresome waiting game, and one that the majority of the world, aka known as the sane and rational, eagerly await the end of. It was William's birthday on June 21st, and so we expected some kind of stunt to be pulled. And as predicted, there was a lame and feeble attempt. This time, it came in the form of a thank you letter that was poorly scanned and shared on the Street Game's Twitter account. 2 days after it was written, what was the aim, and why now? That is a British street charity that has shared the touching thank you letter sent to them by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Sports charity Street Games, an organization supporting disadvantaged communities in London, took to Twitter over the weekend to share the picture of the note they received from the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, who are currently residing in Los Angeles. The letter was padded out with the usual blurb we now expect, but for some reason they used the old logo that they were supposed to have relinquished back in April. Perhaps they are pushing things to see what they can get away with again? That's what they do after all, which is why they are called to simply put an end to this now. We'd already had the thank you video clip from Harry, and it appears they are running out of charities to use. While we were spared another dreadful performance on video, we were subjected to more word salad mumblings that appeared to have been staged yet again. It didn't work, and looked a little too obvious with the letter dated June 19th, which was then shared at 5 p.m. UK time on Sunday, June 21st. It's a strange time for a media account to post something, especially as they had tweeted the previous morning. The letter was addressed to Jane Ashworth, the CEO, and as it appeared to be private, it didn't say in all Street Games. While bearing in mind their privacy concerns, it's understandable that Jane didn't think the letter was to be shared. Did the charity receive a message from the Sussex camp that they could go ahead and share the letter on Sunday and got the message late because it was Sunday and Father's Day and, well, people are busy? Or perhaps it ended up in the spam box as it came from the Hotmail account and they had to be told to look for it, the letter to retrieve it? As one of the charities that the Sussexes nominated for donations to give to, instead of gifts for the wedding, perhaps Street Games feels obliged to be at their beck and call and do their bidding? The problem is that it may all backfire, which leaves the charity in a difficult position. The Sussexes are trying to make out that life in Los Angeles is their idea of freedom, but if we look closely at their actions, has it all been a hoax? Where have they been trying to wing it in a futile attempt to look like victims hounded out in the UK? In Los Angeles, they had to call the police about alleged drones and erected fences that you could see over, such as their need for privacy. A reliable friend had reported a sighting of Harry on the evening of June 20th, 2020, in the south of England, down south as a Brit means south, and further down Farnborough. And people arriving into the UK have to self-isolate for 14 days according to current government guidelines. Therefore, if Harry is here, then he should not be seen, physically anyhow, but if he is back, I doubt it was through choice. From the outset, there appeared to be some kind of rogue plan for the duo to do things their way, while hoping to be able to use public funds and some of the value perks along the way. By creating a liaison with the two journalists so early on, there seemed to be an agenda and a specific narrative that they wished to dictate. In order for them to leave and make money from using their titles and status, they had to find a reason, and that was a combination of a lack of privacy as a public figure and the victim card. Various events appear to have been staged in order to give the appearance that Meghan Markle has been a victim, backed up with some fake PR stories and paid for social media bots that have spread the rhetoric. While there have been some valid criticisms, rude behavior, and a lack of respect for protocol, they could not be construed as victimization. However, the Sussexes needed to look like victims in order to leave the royal family and to gain sympathy. When this didn't work, Thomas Markle was used in People magazine to play the victim card, and thus would either lead to public sympathy, it didn't, or a frivolous lawsuit. Indeed, Putting all the pieces of the jigsaw together, it appears to paint a rather dark and seedy picture of a hoax, using deceptive and manipulative tactics while employing emotional blackmail with the use of fake PR stories. The plan didn't work for many reasons, mainly because the public could see that many engagements were mere and poorly executed performances, and speeches were pure word salad, created with key and trigger phrases aimed at targeting specific audiences. There was a clear business plan, and the Sussex Royal Foundation that was supposed to have been wound up is still alive. And why is that, one must ask? Harry would have had to return to the UK at some point to renew his visa or to amend his status, but that doesn't mean he will be seen publicly. He doesn't need to be seen as he's no longer a working member of the royal family. But the flip side is he now needs publicity more than ever if he wants to get a job or to make money from the non-existent Archewell brand. Some say the Sussexes will be begged to return to the UK and are holding out for the 12-month review period to end. But the welcome they will get, should they return, will be colder than a glacier in Antarctica. Many accept that Harry will return at some point, but he is no longer popular and he knows that. There will always be a small band of fans that will support him whatever he does. But this seemingly planned hoax, coupled with the disrespect shown to the UK public, accusing them of being racist and for pushing him out of the UK, and the RF means that Harry will be eating humble pie for the next decade at least. Wherever he is self-isolating, he'd better get used to the taste of humble pie because that's what he's going to be surviving on for the foreseeable future. Meanwhile, many fans from Daily Mail also slammed Meghan and Harry. One said, if Harry is back in the UK, what is he scrounging for now? Because you can bet your bottom dollar he is not back here just to see the folks. A new house paid for by Papa and the taxpayers? More annual allowance? A plea to be able to use HRH for business purposes because that is essential to make big bucks? She would not let him move back without an ulterior motive. A fan replied to him, their website always was and still remains Sussex Royal and uses the same monogram. They continue to call themselves Royal even though they're not entitled to. I don't understand why Buckingham Palace doesn't put them firmly in their place. Roll on next spring, then hopefully they will be officially excommunicated. The press coverage of these two is a bit like charting COVID-19. We passed the peak, there's an occasional spike, but overall the numbers are falling. And very soon the epidemic will be nothing more than a bad dream. The virus, like Harry and Meghan, will fall into oblivion. Meanwhile, the next fan wrote, as a past victim of a narcissist, I feel very, very sorry for Harry. The narcissist will use your own quality, moral values to manipulate you. It is a very vicious type of manipulation. You do not see that coming. If you are a truthful person, you will compromise to survive the relation without realizing that you are becoming what the narcissist wants you to be, unconscious. You start living a new dynamic. You know something is wrong, but you can't put your finger on it. You feel caged, yet from time to time the narcissist will reward you with the seemingly awesome person you thought he or she was. You are faced with a person with two different personalities, a real wolf in sheep's clothes that plays both parts so well that it is hard for you to accept that someone can be so cunning. You do not have time to reflect because each day the narcissist manipulates you into thinking that everything that goes wrong is your fault. You will lose your self-esteem. You feel powerless. Another fan agreed and said, what people don't realize and why everyone is so quick to judge Harry is that people who suffer from NPD can be the most charming individuals who will detect your core wound and play it like a violin. Unless you are thoroughly educated and informed, it is very hard to become aware of the dynamic mechanisms, toxicity, because what we are dealing with here is master manipulation. A person cannot get out alone. They need the support network. But the narcissist will always try to isolate you and cut you off from everyone. It gives him more power to continue brainwashing the codependent person. Harry needs a shrink like we need air, or else. Not even air will keep him alive. And the last one said, Meghan Markle sends her father a letter, and when it's published, she goes ballistic. When the charity publishes a letter from her, it's okay. Not only that, but what was the point of the letter? It seems like a very condescending pat on the head from mom and dad for doing a good job. The whole concept of we're better than you, and so our personal praise of your accomplishments means something doesn't sit well. A letter to the media, open and honest stating their accomplishments and how beneficial it was would have meant so much more. And you, what do you think about Meghan Markle? Please let me know in the comment section and everyone will discuss it. Remember to like and share my video for anyone you think needs it. And subscribe to my channel to get more news from the royal family. Now, have a nice day and see you in the next videos. Bye!